Do you ever just feel like giving up? Like nothing you do is getting you anywhere and it's just exhausting? And you just want to throw in the towel and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm done participating in modern society. I'm done keeping up with the Joneses. I'm done trying to fall into societal norms. Do you ever feel that way? Because I think a lot of people feel that way. I too feel that way. And I think what is happening is that there's a silent revolution that is happening in the background that nobody's really talking about. And that is the rise of a low desire society. We are actually currently living through the rise of a low desire society, and that's not a bad thing. The fact that people are throwing in the towel and giving up, you know, it used to be seen as something that was bad. It used to be seen as detrimental, but I would say it's actually something that's helping people out now. Because the problem is that we've become very detached from what is natural. And I would say we've kind of lost sight of what's important in life. Our internal compass, the things that used to guide us, the direction we would normally be heading to live a fulfilling life, to find purpose and to find meaning, we've kind of lost sight of that. And we're constantly bombarded with all this stuff. We have society telling us to do all these things. In a lot of cases, we're supposed to meet certain goals, certain life goals by a certain age. In today's modern world, a lot of those goals are kind of unattainable for most people. And that's not to say that you can't attain those goals, but they can feel very out of reach because it's kind of hard to get by. Things are inflated. The cost of goods, the cost of services, the cost of everything keeps going up. Wages have sucked for a while now. They haven't really increased since the 70s. And on top of that, not just the fact that our money doesn't go as far, but we're also being pummeled with all of these different agendas and these ideologies, and in a lot of cases it's very insane stuff. It's stuff that most of us don't align with. And when you have all these factors to consider and all this stuff is hitting us at once, it can feel overwhelming. And that's where a lot of people are just saying, I'm giving up. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done participating in this modern world that we're all trapped in. And the reason that is no longer a bad thing is because it's causing people to disconnect from the new way of doing things, the things that we don't align with. And they're now reconnecting with the basic simple stuff, the stuff that throughout most of history I would say that we did align with, the stuff that we were always able to connect to, which is the natural world around us, the basics, the fundamentals to life. What do we need to survive? What don't we need that we can trim out? These are the realizations that people are having. And it's not that we're desiring less in terms of we don't want things in our lives. We still want stuff in our lives. We still want to live a purposeful and intentional life. We still want to pursue things that bring us joy, the things that we're passionate about. But I think in a very large way, those things have changed. We're not focused on materialistic stuff like we used to be. All this consumerism nonsense, we'd rather not participate in it. We've realized that the only thing that it does is keeps us trapped in the system, because that's what it's designed to do. The more debt that we have hanging over our head, the more that we're paying, and the more stuff that we have, the more money that we're bleeding. And that is more time that we're losing. And that is more time that once we give up, we can never get back. And when we give up that time and we're constantly in this perpetual state of always needing more and going after the next big thing, it can also degrade our health. And it's just not worth it, because health is the most important asset we have in our lives, and then time is right behind that. So we're giving up the two most invaluable assets of our lives, and for what? That's a great question. And that's a question a lot of people are starting to ask now. And that is leading to this low desire society, because people are desiring less. And again, it's not about desiring less in terms of your life. We still want to have an awesome life. And I would say that this is actually leading us to lead a more awesome life than we were before, because when we get away from all this stuff, it's the stuff that never mattered in the first place. And a lot of times it takes a crying diagnosis, or it takes some sort of very significant life event to come to these realizations. That's what it took for me. What started me down this path was that I had my health completely destroyed. Back in 2017, going into 2018, my health tanked. And I was literally on the brink of death for almost a year. I almost died. It was a terrible time in my life, but looking back on that now that I'm on the other side of it, I am forever grateful for having gone through that, because it is one of the big things that lifted the veil from my eyes and allowed me to see the truth. It allowed me to see the things in life that are actually important and focus on those things and go after them. I realized that I was wasting my life by staying stuck in the rat race, by falling victim to a lot of the things that we're kind of designed or programmed to fall victim to. And when I realized that, I decided after a while that the pain of staying stuck in that system and foregoing the rest of my life and giving up all the things in life that I actually wanted to do, the things that I kind of realized were more important, the pain of that was much greater than getting out and figuring it out and possibly failing. Because I knew that if I got out, worst case scenario, if I failed, I'd just go back to doing what I was doing before. And I realized that not everybody can do that. You have to establish, I would say, a cushion of funds so that you can rely on. You have to have money to support you. But for me, that meant just paying down my debt and building up enough money that I could live off of for several years, or many years in my case, so I didn't have to go to work, so that I could figure things out. Because that was more important to me than foregoing my life, than giving up all my dreams. And for me, the things in life that are important, it's not this extravagant stuff. It's not the stuff that society tells us we should go after. It's actually the basics, the fundamentals, just like what I'm talking about here. It's the stuff that is all around us and always has been. The natural beauty of the world, living in the present moment, actually being able to decide what you want to do with your life. Focus in on yourself. Look deep down internally and figure out what it is that lights you up. What are you truly passionate about? What it was for me was about figuring out what I'd be doing outside of work if I didn't have to worry about money. If I had all the time in the world, how would I be spending it? Who would I be spending it with? This is the low desire society. It's not about needing more anymore. It's about needing less. And when you need less, that is less burden. It is less stress. It is less noise. And that is more peace. Because this doesn't just tie into the financial aspect, it also ties into the information aspect. Because there's so much information at our fingertips that all of it just becomes convoluted. It gets overwhelming, and we can't really take it all in. We can hear it, but we can't understand it. It just leaves us very confused and very anxious, very stressed out. And when you reduce your exposure to all this stuff and you cut back on social media and you don't have all the debt and all these things that you cut back on, you cut the toxic people out of your life and you only include the people in your life that you care about, the people you align with, all of a sudden your overall burden, I would say your toxic burden, your stress burden, it becomes much less. That's the low desire society. These are the things that people are starting to adopt, and it's actually having pretty profound impacts. People are starting to get back to multi-generational homes. They're starting communities with like-minded people. They're buying plots of land and they're settling on that land. They're building homes from raw materials from scratch with their bare hands. These are the basics. And when you do that, not only are you creating something meaningful, something that will possibly live beyond you, and you're sharpening your skills, you're also lowering the amount that you're relying on the system. Because when you buy a house or you rent and you have to have the big fancy thing, you're very reliant on the system because you need all that money to get these things. But when you do things the old way, the natural way, the simple way, you don't need as much money. You don't need as many resources. There's a lot of things you don't need. This is the rise of the low desire society, and this is the direction we're headed. And I, for one, think this is an amazing thing. I think it's high time that we have gotten back to this, because the modern way, it's not working for a lot of people. For some people it is, and that's fine if it's working for you, but for the people that's not, it's great to know that we have an option. It's great to know that we can give up certain aspects, and it's okay. It's actually a positive. It's a good thing. It's good to know that we can throw in the towel on some things and adopt other things and have those things possibly completely transform our lives and better ourselves and better our situation, better the lives for our families and possibly even future generations. And I believe that if this continues, this could be a monumental shift that changes the trajectory of our future. It might be something that actually sets our future generations up in a better way, because right now the future for them looks kind of bleak, and I feel bad for the younger generation. The way I grew up was amazing, and every time I think about it, not only do I get very nostalgic, I also feel bad for the younger generation, knowing that they'll never experience that. But if we're making this shift back to a low desire society and the simpler things in life and the things in life that are actually important, I think that might give the future generation hope. It might allow them to experience the life that many of us experienced when we grew up. The life that was much simpler, much less stressful, and I would say much more meaningful, possibly even much more impactful. And let me know down in the comments below what you think about this. Let me know if you think this is a good thing or if you think this is detrimental. Just share your thoughts in general, because opening up the discussion around this is going to help spread the word for the people that are having a tough time right now, the ones that are struggling. Maybe if anything else, it will just give them an idea. There's other things that you can do. There are other options. And our path in life, it's very different for everybody. It varies from person to person. And it's very important to find your path, to live a life that's true to you. But you can't do that if you're constantly overwhelmed and stressed out. So maybe this is the one thing that will at least free our mind enough so that we can figure out what that thing is. What is the thing in life that is going to light us up, that's going to bring us purpose, fulfillment, and joy, and allow us to live an intentional life that's true to us.